Well, hey, I want to go over quickly too, some of the stuff with like Arthur Jones. You have a really inside perspective of Arthur Jones, and he created all the Nautilus stuff. And I think a lot of
Right?
guys don't use the Nautilus to the degree they should, or they could.
Yeah, yeah, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. He was so far ahead of his time. Um, I'm, I was watching some videos of some top strength coaches, and they were asked, well, what's better, free weights or bands or machines? And he said, well, it depends on the machine. He said, you know, if you're comparing a bench press, he didn't say this, but he could have just used this. I'm going to give the example. He explain it generally, but says, basically, if you're doing a bench press and you're out here a barbell bench press, I got my arms out wide, you can't get a full contraction of your pecs. You can't come across the true horizontal shoulder flexed position. He says, but there are machines out there, and we have one sitting 10 feet from me. The Nautilus machine starts wide and it converges, it comes narrow. So it's sort of like doing a dumbbell fly and a barbell press at the same time. But the fly, by the time you get up here, you're not really working against gravity because you're coming horizontal, not working against gravity. In the first part, you're lifting it, but the second part, you're not. It's too easy. So that sometimes those machines give you a better range of movement for a full contraction, the way they're designed. Some of them are like that. With the shoulder press machine, it converges also as you come in. So you can get, you're not ending up out here, you're ending up way up here. So same thing oftentimes with some of the pulling apparatus, they will pull in the way that the lats will actually bring you in or something of that nature. So machines are good, but also about the machines, you have a strength curve. So I have to like barbell bench press. That's my favorite exercise. It always has been. But when you're down here, you're in a kind of a weak position. When you do an extension movement that involves two joints, like any pressing movement, shoulder press, incline press, bench press, bar dip, anything that's a pressing movement, even a squat would be like this. You get stronger and stronger and stronger as you extend the elbow joint in the pressing movements. It's strictly leverage. Okay, your first and third class levers of your shoulder joint and elbow joint, respectively, for your triceps and your pecs and your abdominals, they tend to function more like a second class lever, and you get stronger and stronger. So if I could handle 150 pounds here, which means that's the most I can use because I have to get through that sticking point, I might be able to handle actually 200 pounds up here, the last part, but the weight's only 150. So the Nautilus machines have a CAM, a counter leverage system, that adjusts the percentage of weight you're using based on the average person. It's pretty much the same for all of us. Strength curve, we've got pretty much the same strength curve. If we can do 75% of our max here, 80, 85, 95, 100%, the same. So no matter what weight you're on, it gives you that percentage to kind of match the resistance force to your muscle force throughout the entire movement range. Is that important? It could be. Can I get a pretty good workout on my barbell for my pecs and anterior delts and try? Yeah, but I'm doing quite a few sets. When I'm on the Nautilus machine, I'm doing a warm up, that doesn't really build anything, but it sets my neuromuscular system, and then I go to my max for 10 reps, and I get a pretty good workout. So I'm doing free weights right now from upper body. I'm doing lower body with Nautilus machines, but there was a time I did everything with the Nautilus machines, and it worked just as well as my free weights. I'm not saying it worked any better, but it took me about 20% as much time as the free weights. I'm doing one set of everything instead of maybe four sets of things. So there's a lot of benefits to using well-designed fitness equipment.
Right. You got to have the right design. But the thing that's wild with this is, Dorian Yates, the bodybuilder.
Yes, I do. Yes, he was a high intensity trainer.
He was on London Real, and he mentions you and Arthur Jones, and he talks about how everything you wrote out with the one set, the principle of the one sets, like you can get the same benefit from 3 or 4 sets. So you're only getting more benefit if you train within tight 90-second parameter, right? Like real intense, real heavy, whatever your goal is for how you train, but make it like that, right? And so like there's a way to train on that. It's pretty cool. When I heard it, I was like, Dorian Yates, Wayne Westcott, Arthur Jones, they all, he's probably the byproduct that Arthur Jones never knew he made.
Yes. Arthur trained Casey Viator, who was the youngest Mr. America at 19. He trained him, you know, I think 2 at most 3 times a week with a brief workout with a high intensity. Now, he did some of the things we do in our 116 class where they do breakdown training and assisted and pre-exhaust and some super slows in there, different things like that. So it was an extended single set, but it was very effective and very time efficient. And of course, when I worked with 6 of the NFL football teams, every team that I was privileged to be a consultant for was a high intensity team. They were doing the Nautilus principles. And at that time, this is quite a few years ago, but at that time, they won a lot of Super Bowls. The Steelers won 4 during that time period. The Washington Redskins, now they're called the Washington Commanders, they won 4. Tampa Bay won 1. The Vikings were always in the playoffs. I'm trying to think of some others that I worked with that won. The Ravens did very well in those years. So the high intensity worked for professional football players, even if it would work for someone like me who's just a fitness enthusiast. Yeah.
Right. If it's working at the top tier, it'll work wherever we are. That's it.
I'm not saying, there are a lot of other teams that train with high volume rather than high intensity, and they do great. The Patriots are a high volume team, and they've won a lot more Super Bowls than anybody else, right? Or at least a couple more than anybody else. But actually, Tom Brady, when he was with the Patriots, he went to Michigan, and Michigan, along with Ohio State, where I did some work, and Penn State, where I taught and coached, and some others, they were all high intensity teams. So during his college years, he was training high intensity. I don't think the Patriots did. I think they had a little different approach, but it certainly worked. So there are a lot of ways you can achieve strength fitness, but certainly if you're looking at time efficiency for busy individuals, Arthur's principles worked very, very, very well. They're actually quite profound.
Yeah. Well, look, everything you shared here is going to help people. The other thing is,
thank you.
I want to tell, right, it's like being with you for 2 years, you're just disciplined, and anybody that's coming in to talk to you, they're going to get the answer, and they're going to get a lot more than they might even be able to use